Hello, FH1 family. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's segment, I got a special guest, my close personal friend, family, Stellar Cuz J. Stellar Cuz J. Thank you so much for tuning in, my brother. Appreciate you coming through. Um, Basically, Stellar Cuz J for me is my boxing guru, the person I go to when I need some boxing advice, some data, so a professional opinion, an unbiased perspective. Okay, whether he likes to play the fighter or not, he's gonna give me the raw data, which is what I need for me to make the best decision when it comes to the world of boxing. Boxing's back. I'm excited. There's many things that can sway a fight to go one way or another. But again, when I need information, Jay got me because we're gonna break down the science of boxing, right? The platform, the landscape of boxing, right? We're really gonna get into detail, and then you all make your own educated decision. We gave you what we thought, how we thought it was gonna play out. Each fighter has their time, their moments, and we're gonna go into details with those fighters. All right.
Man, get ready because we're going to bring you a lot of good boxing information. This is an unbiased opinion, like my guy said. It's a pleasure to be on this show. I'm excited and eager to tell you guys and inform you of the knowledge of boxing that I have and over the years of experience that I've been able to see what it takes a fighter to be great and special and be able to take their careers to levels that nobody really can see. Meaning, many of these world champions, the Lomachenkos, the Golovkins, all these guys that came through, the Crawfords, I was able to see a lot of these guys being great fighters before many people seen that. Great fighters have something special. Good fighters are good fighters. On this segment, we're gonna teach a lot of you guys and the general public and the casual boxing fans the difference between what that is. And we hope you guys enjoy the show, and we look forward to educating you.
So, question for you.
Yes, sir.
What do you think Spencer's career is from here on out? From after this loss, where's his career going?
I mean, listen,
because and this is just to not to get off topic, but something that we will discuss and throughout. This is segment 1, right? We're going to continue segment 2, segment 3. We might call this show Unbiased Perspectives. Unbiased Perspectives. I like that. So this loss that he had, I mean, he had never been rocked like that. And sometimes when a fighter gets rocked like that, their career, the trajectory is usually down. It's usually that's just the way it is. Not to say that he can't rebound.
No,
that's to say he can't be an over, because anybody with the right here can do anything. Anything.
Listen,
I don't put that up on nobody, but
I'm not saying that he maybe doesn't have the will to do that within himself. I would wish and hope that he does. And we can only pray that he's able to revive his career after such a significant loss, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a little tough to take a defeat like that.
Yeah.
Especially that you're in the prime of your career. You worked your way up into that moment. Yeah. It's the moment that you've waited for your whole life.
Yeah.
To build it up to that big of a moment. You were undefeated. Nobody had ever beat you. Nobody had ever stopped you. And then something that significant happens is a different trauma. I don't know if people can understand the magnitude behind that, right? And what that does to a fighter psychologically. The effect that's going to have on him in the long term of his career. Again, we would hope and pray that he can stay positive and revive himself and come back and be strong and be a competitor again in the division.
He's excited. He's excited to watch.
But for the years that I've been around in boxing, and we're talking about we're going to go back from Duran to Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
To
you got 35 years plus experience.
To Roy, to Tito Trinidad. I can't even forget Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It's when all these big fighters took these significant loss. They lost bad.
Yeah.
I never seen these guys fight the same. The only one guy that I can ever say I saw revive his career, and again, a special fighter, a legendary Hall of Famer. We had never seen nobody do what he did, was Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
Manny Pacquiao got knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Put into like the fifth dimension of sleep.
And
somehow, in some way, he managed to be okay.
He found that zen, bro.
And he found the zen, and he just moved past that loss and was like, hey, I'm okay with it. I was winning the fight. I made a mistake. I got clipped. Life goes on, and he was able to move past it mentally, which shows wisdom beyond its years. You know, and somebody who was able to do that and then go ahead and cash in on a massive payday with Mayweather after he got knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who does that?
Yeah.
You know, like, think about that. That's legendary. Yeah. Again, one of a kind fighter. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
hands down.
Yeah.
Legendary 8 division world champion. Never been done in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
You talk about one of the greats, the GOAT. And Manny Pacquiao did that, and there ain't too many who have that within them. So can Errol maybe bounce back from this? Yeah, of course. There's always a chance, right? Statistics have proven, though, otherwise. And I hate to see it that way. Again, we don't wish nothing negative on anybody. We want to see him revive his career, get back in there, and be able to compete at the highest levels again. But the reality is that significant of a loss takes a mental toll on somebody. And
in other words, right? Use these words as analytical data when you're making a decision for whenever Spence does come up to his next fight.
Correct.
Whenever that may be, right? 2 years.
Think about that. Yeah, just don't think like, hey, you know,
he's back, he's gonna win.
Yeah, it's,
you know, he might not be that same fighter.
He might never be that same fighter again. And,
you know, and that's, you know, that was the point of him giving you that perspective, right? You know what history has shown. Okay, so we said one person, can he be? Of course, he's human. If he gets that mind right.
Yeah, we just said somebody. Manny Pacquiao was able to do it.
He was able to,
again, we named one guy.
Yeah.
Out of all these guys.
Correct.
Now, have people taken losses and been able to go out there and capture big wins and win titles again? Yes. There's been fighters who've done that. Muhammad Ali did it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not to say that Spence can't take a defeat and go out there and win a world title again. He can. So for other people who might have an opinion towards what we just said, yes, there are probabilities that Spence could come back and revive his career. But then we got to look at, you know, the duration of time of boxing and see how many fighters took significant losses like that and were able to come back. Not many were able to do it. And again, when you name the ones that were able to, they're special. They're like a selective few.
Yeah.
Again, Muhammad, Manny Pacquiao, like just those two alone right there supersede I don't know how many boxers in boxing. So upon discussing that, I think people really need to make their assessments when they're picking fights and looking into things. And when Spence comes back and revives his career and he gets back into that tough test, I wouldn't put my money on it. I would definitely talk to the general public and give you my best educated opinion on that. I would suggest that you don't gamble on any Spence fight in the near future because he's practically damaged goods. You know?
All right. So on the flip side, Crawford, his potential upcoming fights, right? He has possibly maybe Garcia. We're talking about Charlo, right? Saying that Charlo will lose to Canelo, and therefore Crawford will fight Charlo, and then maybe move up to Canelo, right? But we're not going to get there. We're not going to go there right now. Right now, we're just focused on Crawford's near-term future, the actual
the 154.
The 154. You know, number one prospect right now. He's the number one prospect right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, he accomplished all that he needed to in 40 or 47.
Exactly. Why not give him a title shot? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's at 54, and now he's campaigning here.
Exactly.
You know, I think that Crawford is capable of anything that Crawford wants to do.
Okay.
He's a special fighter.
Yep.
He put a masterful display of boxing the other night. He showed the world that he can take this boxing level to places that people have never seen before. Because I can't recall the last time I seen somebody get the shit beat out of them that bad in a fight that was really supposed to be a close fight. I mean, the last one that I can recollect the memory of is Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran. That's the one that I would have to say is that Hearns destroyed Duran and knocked him out.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody thought it was going to be a close fight, but again, a small fighter fighting in the middleweight division who he had no business being there. Yeah. And Hearns was a lot bigger of a man, larger man. Yeah. He beat the shit out of him. But the magnitude of what this fight was and the build up to the fight leading up to it, and then where Spence was at in his career, where Crawford was at in his career, for Crawford to be able to do that separated him on another level with his boxing. He's superior. He's a master at the art of boxing. I think he's just scratching the surface, to be honest with you. I think we have yet to see the best Bud Crawford yet.
Really?
Yeah.
So, modern medicine is going to push.
I think he's got some more sensational performances in him where we have yet to see the greatest one yet. Like, that was just one of many. And I think he's got about a few more left in him to give us before he probably retires and walks off in the sunset. But I would love for him and Danny Garcia to mix it up. I would love for him and Danny to kind of settle the score with their amateur record, being 1-1 against one another, and both of them having a common opponent of Jose Benavidez. And they both faced him, and they both were victorious over him, which Jose is a tremendous fighter. Yeah. Everybody knows Benavidez is as tough as they come, and both of those guys were victorious over him. And now I would love to see Bud and Danny mix it up. It will be a very interesting matchup, especially that they're both at the 154 middleweight division now, junior middleweight division now. Danny's still a game fighter.
So question for you. Would you rather see Crawford Garcia or Crawford Charlo?
Danny.
Really?
Yeah, Danny and Bud. I think
so
Danny
the guy
I don't care. The thing is this.
You don't care that he moved up to a weight class to fight Canelo?
It's not even that. I've seen Charlo box, and with all respect,
he should have been going up there anyway.
Yeah. Bud is just a different. Charlo's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, strong kid, good fighter heart. Willed it to go in there and battle it out, lay it all on the line. Crawford is special, brother. And if those two guys got a chance to share the ring, there'll be a separation between good and great in that moment. And we'll see it.
Okay.
And again, that's all respect to Charlo.
Yeah.
I ain't not giving the man a chance. Any man has a chance to win a fight. Yeah. When they step inside of that ring, anything can happen.
100.
But from my better boxing knowledge, I just know that Crawford is a sensational fighter. I think he's a little more special, and he'll edge him out.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, the fight that seems more interesting to me is Danny Garcia and Terrence Crawford, for the fact that they have a history together.
Okay.
And there's that amateur matchup between the two. Like I said, the common opponent, the fact that they both competed at the 147 division, and now they're both campaigning at 54.
Now, when they fought together, those two fights, they were amateur fights, right? Don't you feel that Bud has separated himself as a boxer over Garcia?
I think Bud is sensational, but this is
what makes this, just because they fought twice, just to say fuck it, let's just fight one more time and to.
As pros, of course. I mean, we have.
Okay. I guess because of the history. I got you.
They're 1-1 against each other.
It's more exciting than watching the other one that doesn't have history.
They're 1-1 against each other.
Okay.
They're 1-1 against each other.
But I'm saying, but according to what we're saying, or what you've been saying today, and I agree with you, right? Because your eyes tell you all. Bud has separated himself, and like Manny has, like it just. They separated. Even I know you don't like to talk about Mayweather, but at the end of the day, he figured out how to, right? He separated himself, right? These greats separate themselves in one way or another. Whether you like that way or don't, that everyone has their own opinion of how someone gets there, but you gotta respect that how they got there. They separated themselves. So Bud separated himself. Danny is not. So shouldn't we see a more exciting fight between Danny and Charlo?
No. I like Danny mixing it up with Bud.
Okay.
Again, reason for me, they both fought Benavidez, and Danny was very successful against Benavidez too. He did a lot of damage, and Bud boxed beautiful, but Benavidez gave Bud a lot of problems. Danny had nowhere near those problems. So styles make fights. You understand? Boxing is like that.
Yeah.
Styles are what make fights. The style that Danny Garcia has and the style that Terrence Crawford has, it makes for an exciting fight. You have a southpaw versus a conventional fighter. You understand?
Okay.
And not only do you have the conventional fighter, you have two sensational counterpunchers. Two probably one of the best counterpunchers in the business are those two guys right there. Anybody agree? Danny's one of the best counterpunchers in boxing. And Danny can counter the fucking lights out of you. Yeah. So, in the fact that Danny can hit home runs with his left hook, he can hit home runs. There's no telling. It's boxing. You understand? So it would be an interesting fight because they're both young. Danny's a very game champion. Again, Garcia and Bud Crawford would be an interesting fight.
Yeah, and for everything that you just mentioned, Danny, his losses by decisions, some questionable and whatnot, makes it for that interesting fight of a person who's been undefeated in his own. Well, he is undefeated, right? But Danny might have really one loss. Let's say it's
Yeah,
if
the Sean fight and the Thurman fight, those were close fights. They weren't fights that Danny lost in any way being dominated by either one of those guys.
Okay.
They were fights that, based on perspective, they could have been seen either way. Thurman had some success early in the fight. I thought Danny pushed the pace in the second half of the fight, which probably could have got him to a draw, but technically speaking, Danny could basically have maybe one loss to Errol, which again, Errol didn't even dominate Danny. He just slightly edged him out. Yeah. But again, styles make fights. Because Errol had that success with Danny that night doesn't mean that Crawford will have that same. You know what I'm saying? Again, I think Crawford's sensational. Yeah. Would I edge Crawford in winning in that fight? Absolutely. But it's boxing.
All right. So moving on to and again, I don't know. Remember if we talked about this or not? Tank and Haney. Didn't we talk about Tank and Haney? Yeah, it's your boy. I know we mentioned Tank earlier, but who would you feel would edge out? Or and you know what? We'll start working this way backwards if you want, and start talking about who you feel is gonna edge out, and in what rounds, possibly. What combination or punch or throw them out there.
I mean, between Tank and Haney, I got Tank.
You got Tank. All right.
I would say Tank would stop him. Probably between 7 and 10.
7 and 10. Huh?
Yeah. I think it'd kind of be like the same like Ryan.
Yeah.
He got Ryan out of there at 7. Yeah. But it would be somewhere between 7 and 10. Would be where he would finally be in his rhythm.
Okay.
Controlling his distance, measuring his power punches.
Yeah.
And, probably sit down on a heavy punch and land one. And there's no time. I think anybody and everybody can agree that Tank is the bigger puncher, right?
Yeah.
Between him and Haney. Haney's fundamentally sound, strong fighter. He could definitely disrupt Tank's rhythm. Yeah. Cause some trouble for him early, but I think once Tank settles in, it'll be Tank Davis who will be victorious.
Okay. All right. Then working our way backwards. Stevenson and Lomachenko. Stevenson and Lomachenko.
Yeah. Again, with all credit to Lomachenko, man, who he is, his legendary status in boxing, and all respect to who Lomo is. Man, the fight that he had with Haney, where everybody thought that he'd be Haney, I thought he'd be Haney. He would be a tough opponent for any fighter. But again, the end of an era, the beginning of a new era. I think Shakur will be a little bit too much for him, for Loma, especially later in the fight, around 9. The 9th, 10th, and 11th round will probably be where Shakur really starts teeing off on him, and I could potentially see him stopping Lomachenko.
Okay.
And that's where there'll be a separation between him and Haney. Because remember, now Haney had fought Loma and Shakur would have fought him. You know, the general public kind of likes to measure and gauge fights like that, which I really don't. Because, again, styles make fights. Anybody can get in the ring and anything can happen at any night.
Yeah.
But with this particular fight here, I just think that Shakur will separate his skill sets and show people that he's got something a little bit more special than Haney. You know, and he'll probably get a stoppage.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit more special than Lomachenko.
Yeah, it's just where Shakur's going to be able to place his punches, man. Loma's going to have a tough time with that. He's going to have a very tough time.
So do you see Lomo going down by knockout, or you see a decision?
I see a stoppage, man. I see finally Lomo getting stopped. I hate to say that.
No.
Yeah, it hurts me to say that.
No.
You know, Lomo, I'm definitely a fan of Lomachenko.
You're not giving him one more time.
Lomo's a warrior, a gladiator.
You're not giving him one more time. One more time to razzle and dazzle you.
I mean, listen.
His defense on point. His defense on point.
It wouldn't surprise me if he went the distance for Shakur. It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't surprise me. But I think it's one of those, again, the fighter.
He's older too.
The fighter bringing out
9
the best
years.
of them. Yeah.
Right. I don't remember.
To me, again, great fighters, right? That they have to be faced with greatness to bring the best out of them. It's the only way you're going to get the best out of that fighter.
Yeah.
And given the task at hand, I think Shakur will probably finish him off.
Will be victorious.
Mm-hmm.
What round? Sorry, I know I'm stretching on camera, but
I would say anywhere between the 8th and 11th round for Shakur to stop Loma.
Okay.
Yeah, anywhere between 8 and 11. And again, you know, people are like, oh, well, you know, why don't you say a specific round? Because it's just really.
Well, I have.
I've called specific rounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Now, if I have to be specific and call it in that fight, I'm gonna say the 9th round. I'm gonna go with number 9. That's just. There's a reason behind that, but I'm gonna go with number 9.
Okay, let's go.
And the 9th round is where more than likely he'll probably be in the position already to stop him. He'll be teeing off on him and just landing flush combinations on him where his corner would start considering, maybe even the referee will consider stopping the fight. Because, again, this is an aging fighter. Shakur being Shakur. Precise, accurate punching and precision punching. Lomo being for something special that night too.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Again, a great fighter, sensational fighter.
Yeah, great career.
He's gonna push the pace early in the fight. It's gonna be good, interesting early. He's gonna do some nice special things, hit Shakur. But
I mean, as an older fighter, right? As an older fighter, let's say I'm facing a younger fighter. Obviously, I've been training to try to end this as quickly as possible.
Of course,
right? Having the experience, you know, see that as a possibility. We're like, yo, you know, Lomachenko, 3rd round.
I mean, listen.
I mean, you know he's been training, and you know the way he trains. Train with him, you believe, or you know his people.
Yeah,
like,
Loma is a monster. He's a machine.
Yeah.
But Shakur is very sharp, and it's going to be tough. You know, it's a very tough task at hand. Again, and all credit to Lomachenko and his degree of boxing, what he's accomplished in the sport of boxing. I think he's a sensational fighter, but Shakur's just going to be too much. Shakur's bigger, he's stronger. Yeah. There's going to be a difference in the magnitude of when those punches land. You know, and you'll see what I mean that particular night if that does take place.
Yeah.
You will call me. You will be like, I see what you're saying. Like when Loma lands, it'll be very minimal of what he's able to do. You know, Loma doesn't really have that turn your button off punch, and I'm not saying Shakur has it either. That's not the Shakur's known for knocking people out, but he does have placement punches where he can put those punches on time. Where if they land right, everybody knows in boxing it's got to be the right punch to get you. It ain't got to be the hardest punch. It's got to be the right punch that lands at the perfect time and it turns your button off. And Shakur has that placement with his shots, so it's going to be interesting to see how Lomo can withstand when Shakur lands those flush punches. You know, if he can deal with that, and he can go through the first 5, 6, 7 rounds, being able to take them level of jabs and body shots and hooks and uppercuts that Shakur's going to be throwing. I would like to see, how that plays out, because I can promise you this much: if Lomo can't do anything effective to Shakur within the first 7 to 8 rounds, like I said, I have Shakur with a stoppage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Canelo and Charlo. Canelo and Charlo. I think we already kind of covered this earlier.
Yeah.
But so Canelo clear-cut winner. But what round?
I would have to say Canelo stops him in about the 10th round.
10th round stops him. And with what punch?
Man, it's probably going to be a short left hook inside. Short left hook. It's going to be probably something that just Charlo doesn't see coming. Canelo's probably going to lure him right into the punch. And again, it's gonna all come down to the experience that Canelo has on the levels of boxing that he can take his craft to, right? And how in boxing, when you're at that level that Canelo's at, they know how to lure traps. You know how to get a guy to come to you, especially when you're later in the fight. You already see what he's doing. You've had multiple rounds to scout him, to read him, to see where his habits are, where he likes to move to, where he's not protecting himself at, and when he's able to gauge that, like he's a master at that. And again,
and we know Canelo's already been training it. He's
a master at that. Right? So if Charlo's not careful and doesn't keep his hand at home, but his chin tucked extremely tight. Like I'm talking about, he better have that thing like buckled down, like with a seatbelt in his chin. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my boy, if he don't have nothing protecting at home and it touches the button, he's out of there. Canelo's gonna turn it off, and he knows how to hit that switch. So I got Canelo winning that fight.
Okay. All right. And you said.